Hello, this is Shay Jackson with Hype Math and Reading. In today's video, we will be reviewing for the 2022 Texas STAAR Math Test for 4th graders. Our concept is Fractions Review. This is part 4. Remember, 4th graders, every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. We have our 4th grade math and reading review workbooks available for purchase in our store. The links will be in the description box so that you can grab yours today. Do you need a math or reading tutor? We offer virtual one-on-one and group tutoring for 2nd to 8th grade students. Parents, you can click the link in the description box so that you can sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and press the like button so that you will be alerted to new videos we upload, and also spread the word about Hype Math and Reading. We greatly appreciate your support. So in talking about fractions, let's start with equivalent fractions. They are fractions that have different numerators and denominators but equal the same amount. So let's look at our example. We have a square. The top box of the square is 1/4. In the middle, we have 2 1/8 blocks. And at the bottom, we have 4 1/16 blocks. So how are they equal to each other? I'm glad you asked. So whenever you have equivalent fractions, what you need to do is multiply a fraction or divide by the same number in the numerator and in the denominator. So for example, 1/4, we multiplied 2 in the numerator and in the denominator in order to equal 2/8. And that is how 2/8 is an equivalent fraction of 1/4. For 1/4, also we multiplied 4 in the numerator and in the denominator. And when we multiply our numerators going across, 1 times 4 is equal to 4, and 4 times 4 is equal to 16. And that is how 4/16 is an equivalent fraction over 1/4. Whenever finding equivalent fractions, make sure that you multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. Now let's talk about comparing and ordering fractions. One thing to remember, 4th graders, is that the alligator mouth, or the mouth of the inequality sign, always opens up to the largest number. So let's look at our example on the left-hand side. We have 2 squares. One of the squares is divided into 4 equal parts, and of those 4 equal parts, 3 are shaded, and 3/4 is my fraction. On the right-hand side, we have a square with 8 equal parts, and of that, there are 6 parts that are shaded. Now, we have 3/4 is equal to 6/8. And yes, the numerators and denominators are different, but let's look at how the squares are shaded. They have the same amount shaded, and that is how we know 3/4 is equal to 6/8. And remember, with equivalent fractions, even though the numerator and denominator is different, that does not mean that the fractions aren't equal to each other. Okay, so let's look on the right-hand side at our example. On the top, we have a rectangle with 3 equal parts, and 2 are shaded. 2/3 is my fraction, and on the bottom we have a rectangle with 4 equal parts, and 2 are shaded, and 2/4 is my fraction. And for our inequality, we have 2/3 is greater than 2/4. Now, in order for us to see if this inequality sign is actually true, what we're going to do is we are going to find the least common denominator, or least common multiple. You'll also see LCD or LCM of 3 and 4. That means what is the lowest or smallest multiple that both numbers can go into evenly and that is 12. So now I'm going to create an equivalent fraction where my denominator for both fractions is the same. Let's start on the left-hand side with 2/3, and it's color-coded in orange for you to follow along. We have 2/3, and we're going to multiply our numerator and denominator by 4. And you may be asking yourself, well, why did we do that, Miss Jackson? Well, remember, our least common denominator is 12. So when finding out what number I need to multiply the numerator and denominator by, I'm going to ask myself, what number multiplied by 3 is equal to 12, and that is why we have 4. So 8/12 is our equivalent fraction. Now let's look at the right-hand side and look at 2/4. Again, we have 4 as our denominator, but our denominator for our equivalent fraction will be 12. I ask myself, well, what number multiplied by 4 is equal to 12, and it is 3. So I'm going to multiply my numerator and my denominator by 3. Multiplying my numerators going across, 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So 6/12 is my equivalent fraction for 2/4. Now that I have both of my fractions with the same denominator, all I need to do is focus on the numerators. And yes, 8 is greater than 6. And since we know that the alligator mouth opens up to the larger number, 2/3 is actually greater than 2/4. So let's talk about adding fractions. Here we have an example where we have 3 circles. Let's look at the first circle. We have 5 equal parts, and of that, 2 are shaded. That is 2/5. Plus, we have another circle with 5 equal parts, and 1 of them are shaded. So that is 1/5. Since my denominators are the same, all I'm going to do is add my numerators and keep the denominator. So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, and 5 is my denominator. So 2/5 plus 5/5 is equal to 3/5. Now let's dive into our questions. And remember, we have our 4th grade math review workbook available for purchase in our store. The link is in the description box. Number 23 says, the thickness of Jacob's cell phone is 3/8 inch. The thickness of Crosby's cell phone is less than Jacob's. Which measurement could be the thickness of Crosby's cell phone? Is it F, 2/5 inch, G, 4/7 inch, H, 1/3 inch, or J, 5/6 inch? In order to solve this problem, the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, what am I looking for? I am looking for the thickness of Crosby's cell phone, okay? Again, I am looking for the thickness of Crosby's cell phone. Okay, so now that we know what we're looking for, the next thing I need to ask myself is, what information can help us find the answer? Okay, there are 2 things that will help me find the answer. Number 1, I need to remember that the thickness of Crosby's cell phone is less than Jacob's, and also I need to convert my fractions so that I can compare to see and discover which fraction or answer choice is the correct one for the thickness of Crosby's cell phone. Let's start with F. We have 2/5 inch. Okay, and remember, Jacob's cell phone is 3/8 inch. So for every answer choice, we are going to discover what the LCD or least common denominator is for the answer choice denominator and also for 3/8 so that we can do a comparison. Starting with F, our denominators are 5 and 8. I'm going to find the multiples of 5 and also 8. And when I do that, I notice that my LCD or least common denominator for 5 and 8 is equal to 40. Now I can find my equivalent fraction. So we're starting with 2/5. We are asking ourselves, What number multiplied by 5 is equal to 40? That is 8. So I'm going to multiply my numerator and denominator by 8. Multiplying across, 2 times 8 is equal to 16. 5 times 8 is equal to 40. So now my equivalent fraction of 2/5 is 16 over 40. Now let's take a look at 3/8. Again, we need to find our equivalent fraction where 40 is the denominator. What number multiplied by 8 is equal to 40? That is 5. So I'm going to multiply my numerator and denominator by 5. Multiplying my numerators going across, 3 times 5 is equal to 15. 8 times 5 is equal to 40. So 15 over 40 is my equivalent fraction for 3/8. Now let's move to answer choice D. We have 4/7 inch. And again, we need to find the least common denominator, or LCD, of 7 and 8. And looking at our multiples, and the LCD is highlighted for you fourth graders, it is 56. So now I need to find equivalent fractions where my denominator is 56. So let's start with 4/7 and convert that one. I'm going to ask myself, what number multiplied by 7 is equal to 56, and it is 8. So I'm multiplying my numerator and denominator by 8. Multiplying my numerators going across, 4 times 8 is equal to 32. 7 times 8 is equal to 56. So my equivalent fraction for 4/7 is now 32 over 56. Again, we need to convert 3/8. The denominator is 56, and we're multiplying our numerator and denominator by 7. I'm multiplying my numerators going across. 3 times 7 is equal to 21. 8 times 7 is equal to 56. So my my equivalent fraction for 3/8 is 21 over 56. Now let's take a look at H. We have 1/3 inch, and 3 and 8, we need to find our LCD, and that is 24. So now we need to find our equivalent fractions with 24 as our denominator. I'm going to ask myself, what number multiplied by 3 is equal to 24? And that is 8. So I'm multiplying my numerator and denominator by 8. Multiplying my numerators going across, 1 times 8 is equal to 8. 3 times 8 is equal to 24. So 8 over 24 is my equivalent fraction for 1/3. Now we're going to work on 3/8. Again, 24 is my denominator, and we see that 8 times 3 is equal to 24, and 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So 9 over 24 is my equivalent fraction for 3/8. Now let's look at J, 5, 6. We have 6 and 8 for our denominators, so we need to ask ourselves, what is the LCD of 6 and 8? It is 24. So now we can find our equivalent fractions. Let's start with 5, 6. We see that 4 times 6 is equal to 24. So we're going to multiply our numerator and denominator by 4. Multiplying our numerators going across, 5 times 4 is equal to 20. Now let's look at 3/8. We have 24 as our denominator, and 3 again is the number when we multiply by 8, it equals 24. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 3 as well. 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 over 24 is my equivalent fraction for 3/8. Woo, that was a lot, but we got this, fourth graders. Now I need to ask myself, well, now that I have all of this information, Miss Jackson, how are we going to solve this problem? Well, so glad you asked. Now that we have all of our equivalent fractions, what we need to do is look at our answer choices. And remember, we're looking for the answer choice where Crosby's cell phone is less than Jacob's cell phone. Now, Jacob's cell phone, the fraction, the equivalent fractions are in blue. So let's take a look. For F, we have 16 over 40 is greater than 15 over 40. For G, we have 32 over 56 is greater than 21 over 56. For H, we have 8 over 24 is less than 9 over 24. And for J, we have 20 over 24 is greater than 9 over 24. And remember that the alligator mouth or the inequality sign mouth always opens up to the larger number. So for this problem, Jacob's cell phone would be the larger number because it said that Crosby's cell phone is less than Jacob's. So the alligator mouth again would open up to the fraction that's in blue. Do you see the correct answer? If you said H, you're absolutely correct. It's 1/3 inch. That is the thickness of Crosby's cell phone because 8 over 24 is less than 9 over 24. Great job, fourth graders. Now let's move to question number 24. The number of each kind of flowers in a vase is shown. Which expression can be used to find the fraction of flowers in the vase that are daisies or tulips? And let's look at our picture. We see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 daisies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tulips. Okay, so 4 daisies, 6 tulips, 6 roses and 5 tulips. So all together we have 15 flowers. Oh, no. Don't listen to Miss Jackson. We have, oh yes, we have 15 flowers. Please forgive me. We have 15 flowers. So let's look at our answer choice. We have A, 6 over 6 plus 5 over 5. B, 4 over 4 plus 5 over 5. C, 6 over 15 plus 5 over 15. And D, 4 over 15 plus 5 over 15. To answer this question, the first thing we're going to ask ourselves is, well, what are we looking for? We are looking for the fraction expression for flowers in the vase that are daisies or tulips. So that means we're going to add them together because we can either have daisies or we can have tulips, okay? Now, what information can help find the answer? The information that can help find the answer is, number one, there's a total of 15 flowers all together. Because remember, Miss Jackson forgot that quick when she was counting. Again, the total number of flowers is equal to 15. We know that there are 4 daisies. We know that there are 6 roses and 5 tulips, okay? That is the information that we need to know. Now that we know that information, how are we going to solve the problem? And I mentioned it a little bit, is we need to add the number of daisies and tulips. And they're color-coded, fourth graders, so that you can follow along. So here we are. We're going to add the number of daisies and tulips. What we had to do is create our fraction. We have a total number of 15 flowers, right? So 15 is going to be our denominator because that is the total parts. 15. Now for our numerator, for the daisies, it will be 4 because we have 4 daisies. So 4 over 15 is my fraction for daisies. And for tulips, it will be 5 over 15 because there are 5 tulips. And let me say it one more time. So for our denominator, we are going to count the total number of flowers, and that is 15. Now that we know our denominator is 15, we're going to look at the number of daisies. That is 4. That is why our fraction is 4 over 15. And for tulips, it's 5 in our numerator. 5 over 15 is our fraction. So what is our correct answer? Well, all we need to do is look at our answer choices to see which one has 4 over 15 plus 5 over 15 as the answer choice. And do you see it? If you said D, you're absolutely correct. That is the correct answer. Well, that is it, fourth graders, for part 4 of Fractions Review. Remember, if you need a tutor, we have a link in the description box for parents to sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. And we have our 4th grade math and reading review workbooks available for purchase in our store. This is Shay Jackson with Hype Math and Reading. I will talk to you later.